Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Lost and Found No More Secrets with DNAngels. If you're new to DNAngels, we're a nonprofit search angel organization dedicated to the assistance of individuals seeking to identify their biological parents using DNA interpretation, mapping, and extensive research. For clients struggling with news of a non-paternal event, NPE, also referred to as a not parent expected, donor conception, or adoption, we offer support and fellowship in our private online group. Services to help identify birth parents come at no cost to you. Other relatives may require a fee. My name is David Vargas, and today I'm joined by my co-host, Jessica Deem. How are you doing today, Jessica?
I'm good. Excited to get into this story.
I know this was a fun one to read for me. We get to get in there and sort of get that preview of what we're going to be talking about and the person that we're meeting today. So I'm really looking forward to this. We're going to hear Hannah's story and really how DNAngels was able to get in and help her figure out what her truth was. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and invite Hannah to join. Hannah to join us. Hi, Hannah. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are y'all?
I'm doing fantastic. So we're going to get started with the conversation here. And just a general setup question. Hannah, can you tell us a little bit about your story and what it was like at home growing up for you?
My story, it's a little rough. I found out that I was adopted about 9 or 10. And the man that I was told that was my father is not my biological father. And my mother passed away at 13. And she went to her grave with one person was my father. And because of you, I found out that I found the truth. And I found my father, and there's been a lot of healing going on.
So when did you find out that you were adopted? Was it at an early age, or did you learn a little bit later on?
I was about 9 or 10.
Okay, so you had a few years before your mother passed away, before that she never really had a chance to tell you that, or you never got that from her, right? Do you know if that was just because she didn't know, or was it that is it that she struggled to figure it out, or what was the story there?
There's so many different ways that it could have gone, but I've gotten several other stories about my coming about, and none of it reflects what actually happened. And so I have to keep it with a grain of salt. So when I think about it, I try to put myself in my mother's shoes at her age, because I'm a mother of 2. I believe she wanted it to be someone else's, and my biological father was a brief moment. And I think she might have been embarrassed by that. She may have wanted better for me, thinking that the man that she was on and off with was better. She withheld that from the person she claimed my father to be. So he has had doubts for 34 years if I'm his biological daughter or not. So I have a lot of abandonment issues, and my purpose, I feel, is I had to find out the truth for myself, because I am wanting to change the generations to come. And so this is my story. This is my truth. And it's something that I had to dig and find. But I believe she had to have known that it wasn't the person that she said.
When you came to us, had you already done your DNA testing, or was that something that sort of came after the fact?
I've already done it. I've done 2 of them, 23andMe and Ancestry.
Okay. And were you trying to sort of piece those clues together on your own, and how was that journey for you?
I love it. I'm the family historian. So on my maternal side, I have it all the way down to Viking era, right? Because it lights a fire within me. So on my father's side, I have 3 siblings with 3 different fathers. So we found one of my brothers. The other 2 knew who their fathers were. So I was the last, right? So my father is Southern European, Spanish, Italian, the darker features. So I was looking for that. So now that, I have the answer, I could go further back to finish my line, to finish what truly makes my heart happy.
Well, I think we can say that we agree with you. We're all genealogists at heart. That's where most of us got our start.
Yeah, I love it.
So what was the most interesting part of trying to put all of those pieces together to you?
The most interesting part?
Mm-hmm.
It's the research that you have to do. I guess it's the aunts and the uncles and the cousins and all these different last names. Well, how do they intertwine and how do they connect? I think that was my thing, because everyone has a story. This might sound really crazy, but I like to read obituaries. And it's because I like to read about a person's life. Even if they are gone, the time they were here, they left a mark. And that's in my family lineage. That's the mark I'm trying to find.
Not crazy at all. I think we all like to read obituaries when you're in this line of volunteering. And obituaries do provide a lot of information when they're well written. So it's a great place to get that information when you're looking for somebody's history and story.
Mm-hmm.
So when you did your DNA test and you got those results back, were you looking at a lot of different people and just trying to figure out how they all pieced together and were struggling with that? Is that where you were with that?
I hit a wall when I got my Ancestry results, because it showed up that I had a half sister. And I know that half sister didn't come from my mother. So I reached out to her on Ancestry saying, asking, would you happen to know who our father is? My name is Hannah. I'd love to get to know you. If you have any info, please let me know. And 3 messages in, she blocked me. So there was I was stuck. I have hit a brick wall to where even the cousins wasn't lining up. And at this point, it's, you know what, God, I surrender it. I can't. I even came to a point where it's not me that's going to find it. I have to surrender it to someone else. And that's when I reached out to y'all.
And how did you learn about DNAngels?
I was sitting there laying in bed and I typed in DNA relative finder. And I was scrolling and I found y'all and I'm like, what could it hurt? Let's try it.
And how long from the time that you submitted your initial application until the time that your case was solved was it?
I'd say about 2 weeks, a week and a half.
So a pretty good turnaround time for you then.
Mm-hmm.
We have some that go even faster, some that take longer. It just depends on the complexity of the case and who's responding, who's not. If we have situations like yours where people aren't responsive, we could run into those brick walls as well. So it can take a little bit of extra time for us to find those. And so when you first learned the identity of your birth father and saw a picture of him for the first time, what were the feelings that you had around that?
So when I saw that the tree was complete, that my father, my grandfather, and my grandmother were there, I had already seen a picture of him on Facebook. So I was in the right area. I just couldn't pinpoint who this man was. So when I initially saw Jerry's photo, intuitively, I knew this is close. So when I saw it on Ancestry and I started getting the pictures from the person helping me, it was it was a feeling of, I look like her. I look like my grandmother. I get this from my father. It started to, it immediately felt like home, even though he's deceased. He passed away in 2020. So I felt complete. My identity had been found at that moment.
It's so interesting because that happens a lot in genealogy where we're not, these are people who lived years, centuries before us, and we still feel that connection, that draw to who they were. So that's very normal, I think, for people who are doing that sort of search. What other finds was your angel able to help you sort of unearth as she was looking for stuff?
So my maternal grandmother passed away when she was 36. My mother passed away when she was 39. My grandmother that I found, she passed away at 39. My cousin that I found passed away at 39. So I am not going at 39. Like, I'm speaking it out to the universe. I'm not. Okay. So that's one of the things. Health issues. So let me back up. I actually found an aunt and reached out to her, and we met immediately. She actually lives in Mississippi, and she was giving me her health issues, which line up with my health issues. So my mama passed away at 39 in 2004. So the scoliosis, all these other issues, nobody in my family related to me. And so when I reached out to the aunt and I met her, it's everything aligned the way that it was supposed to. Did I answer your question?
You did. I mean, there's always ways to get to the responses. But yes, health issues are a very important aspect of why we do what we do, because there's so many people who they may not have an accurate history of their own health. They may not understand where those things come from. You said that you were able to meet your aunt. Have you met any of your other newfound relatives?
No, just her.
No? Okay. And have you been able to identify who the half-sister was that sort of blocked you and wasn't responsive there?
So my aunt gave me the rundown. So kind of the same thing happened to her. I don't want to speak on it because I really don't know the full scope of the story, but I do know that my half-sister Jessica met our father, had a brief encounter, and then she ended up cutting contact with him. And when he passed away, that was the end. She didn't really stay around with the family. So I guess once she knew, that's all she was looking for too. She wasn't looking for a relationship. So she could have at least told me.
If she sees this, what's something that you would want for her to hear from you in this regard?
I hope you're okay. I hope that you see the love in life. And I pray that whatever wound she has from that she can heal it and move forward.
That's beautiful. Anything from you, Jessica, that you could think of offhand right now?
Yeah, I just wanted to ask you, Hannah, you had talked about the healing that you've gotten from your answers. And I was hoping that you could expand a little bit more on that healing process that you went through.
I'm still going through it, clearly, because talking about Jessica just made me tear up. My entire life, I have felt like I was abandoned. And in a sense, I was, right? So the man that was at the hospital when I was born, who was on my birth certificate, who named me, left. When he left, he signed over rights. So I was then adopted by my sister's father. I had a new first name and I had a new last name. So growing up, I've always felt different. It's just something that you feel internally. You don't connect with. I was the sensitive. I was the you're being dramatic. I was the one that needed help that didn't get help. Okay. So where am I at?
You were the one who needed help, who didn't get help.
I was the one who needed help, who didn't get help. And so growing up, instead of going to therapy, doing things the way I would have liked to be handled as a child, because every child is different. I would have liked the truth as a child. I think I could have handled that, knowing that I wasn't crazy, that I internalized a lot because I knew that the truth wasn't being said as a child. And so when I found out at 8 or 9 or 10 from my stepmother that I was adopted, then came the question of, Mama, who's my daddy? And at the time of having phone books, I would sleep over at a friend's during the weekend and go through the phone book looking for this man. Hey, do you know Dawn Jones? I never found him. But then I was introduced to him at 13, where he denied me to my face, saying that I wasn't his child. And then my mama passes away. But then he's here, he's there. So now I have to sit back and look at it from a totally different perspective without canceling out the way that I felt, the way that I have been my entire life. So now my mama withheld the truth for a reason. That one truth could have changed the trajectory of my entire life. Abandonment issues. I could have been raised by a father who potentially could have taught me the self-love and how to properly be loved. But that wasn't my story. So I have to keep reflecting, trying to put myself in other people's shoes so I can understand. Because I'm not upset with my mother. I'm not upset at anyone who was in my life at a certain point that left. Because you yourself have things that you need to heal. So how can I be upset with you when life is just teaching us all a whole bunch of lessons? Do I cry about it? Absolutely. Because it's still how I feel. But I know that the decision my mother made was to try to protect me. So I've spent my entire life trying to find this man, and I found him. And now I understand why I am the way I am, because I have the other part to me. So it's a lot of rewiring of my brain. I wasn't adopted. I wasn't abandoned. I just wasn't known about. He couldn't leave me if he didn't know about me. And that's something that you just have to be okay with. Because it's gone. I'm never going to get my mother's side, my biological father's side. And that has to be okay. So whatever issues I have because of this has made me the person that I am, the mother that I am, the wife that I am. It made me better, even though it was made to tear me down. Now, I still have a lot of healing to do, especially with self-confidence and feeling worthy of things. But right now, I'm healing my childhood, who in turn, I'm already changing the future for my children because I see it now. When I was 9, my mama wasn't doing these things for me, but I'm doing it for them. So looking to see, there's a positive and a negative in every story. I'm choosing to think of the positive, and I'm choosing love instead of fault.
There is power and healing in forgiveness.
Mm-hmm.
So what you're talking about is forgiveness, and it really is a beautiful thing. How is your relationship with the man whose name is on your birth certificate? Do you still have a relationship with him?
So he still wants a DNA test done. After all these years of in and out, denying me, he still wants it done, which I understand. I get that, right? Because it wasn't fair to him. And in another sense, it was also wasn't fair to him and me. I do go see him. Me and my family, we go see him. But that conversation was kind of hard to prove him right. He ended up saying that he wishes that I were. And that little fire. And I had to step back a little bit because every choice you make has consequences to it. I could have been, you could have accepted me. You get what I'm saying? You could have accepted me and had the child you never had, because he actually doesn't have any children. So what if that was the universe's way of filling in a void, a future void for him with one choice? And my heart's just too big, I guess, but we're okay. We know the truth now, and that's that.
If you had words of advice for somebody that's going through the same thing that you've been through and are going through, what would they be?
If this is what you truly want, to find yourself, your other half, don't stop. Don't let anyone tell you you're dwelling in the past, because there's something burning in you because you want the truth. You need the truth. My advice is don't ever stop. You may feel crazy, but it's something that it's a piece of a puzzle that you need for yourself. I needed it for myself. I didn't care that if he was alive or not. I didn't care. I just needed to know information. I needed to know that he was real. Looking at him, I felt whole before I even knew it was him. And that's a feeling that people just need, and that's okay.
And it's not even just for you, it's also for your children too, because you're able to share that with them now as well.
You're totally right. My son, he asked me something about my father, and I'm like, no, baby, I don't know who he is. But now I say, my husband actually got me a picture of my father in a frame for Mother's Day. And no, it was Valentine's Day. I'm so sorry. And now it's, this is who you look like. This is my dad. But I don't know him. But now that the puzzle is whole, it's complete for me.
It really is amazing. So thank you so much for sharing your story with us today, Hannah. We very much appreciate it.
Thank y'all for having me.
All right. Any last words you'd like to tell folks before you take off?
Don't stop. Keep looking.
All right. Thank you so much, Hannah.
All right.
Thank you, everyone, for watching this episode of Client Stories with DNA Angels. We really appreciate your time and investment with us. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video. If you or someone you love is searching for a biological parent, grandparent, or trying to break down a brick wall in your family tree, visit us at DNAangels.org.